I got this Deity Pocket Wireless system on Amazon for about $169. And after using it for practically over a month, I honestly have nothing bad to say about it. My intentions for getting this microphone was to use it for my Patreon, YouTube Shorts, social media, any basic interview type of stuff, and just basic content creation. The reason I got this microphone for my Patreon was because I noticed when I was recording videos with my smartphone, the audio did not sound as great as it could have been. The reason for this is because when I was recording videos like this horizontal, the way my hand was covering the microphone impacted the outcome of how the audio sounded when I was editing it in post-production. And especially if I wanted to put my phone on a stand or place it against something or move it up and down somewhere, the audio would always get affected by it in some way, shape, or form. And so by using the Deity Pocket Wireless, all of the audio that the viewer hears from you is coming directly from the transmitter, which is this bad boy right here. So even if I were to set my phone down on something or make a little adjustment with my phone, like move it around, the audio would not be affected. But in case you don't believe me, here are some examples of how the audio would sound without the Pocket Wireless compared to with the Pocket Wireless on. So now you're only hearing the audio from my camera phone. Now if I were to move the phone around just a little bit, get my handle on it, you can hear some of the audio coming out of it. Now, if I were to place it on my laptop right here, you can definitely hear more of the sound of the camera being placed on the laptop. So this is what the Deity Pocket Wireless sounds like with my phone. If I were to move around a little bit, you're only hearing the audio from the transmitter. And if I were to set this phone down, you would only hear the audio from the transmitter. I also wanted to use this for YouTube Shorts because I'm a musician and singer and I have a YouTube channel called Jeff Makes Music. And so for the YouTube Shorts, I wanted something that I could clip onto my shirt, sing and play guitar at the same time. I got another microphone for these type of videos, but it was a cheaper one and it did not sound nearly as good as the Deity Pocket Wireless has done. If you want to find out what kind of microphone system that was, you can check the card above my head, but I'm here to tell you that I would not think about investing into that microphone unless you are on a super low budget and are desperate for something better other than your camera mic. I also knew this microphone would come in handy for interviews. So if I'm interviewing someone, asking them questions about the theme or topic of what the video is about, I knew that this microphone system would be a great help for these very reasons. For one, it's super easy to set up. I mean, whether you're using your smartphone or your camera, you have the ability to easily clip the receiver onto your camera using its cold shoe mount, and then using your USB-C to TRRS cable, you connect that straight into your camera. And then having the choice to use your transmitter's built-in microphone that sounds just as good as the cable microphone you get within the package. The majority of the time, I usually just clip this bad boy onto someone's shirts and interview them like this. It literally takes seconds. You don't have to worry about placing the microphone up someone's shirt, having to worry about where to place it, where to hide it from the mic, because with this kind of transmitter, one, if you wanted to hide it from the mic, it would be very hard, but also it would be pointless, because look at how small it is, but also look at how noticeable it'll be on camera if you try to do that. So I personally do not care, and I just place it on someone's shirt, but I only do this in particular scenarios. The wireless system also has a very organized case with all the cables and accessories you need for recording audio. Your transmitter and receiver come in the case along with a nice furry wind protector for if it gets really windy, very stormy. If there's anything in your environment that can affect the way the microphone is picking up the audio, the wind protector will be a great help. And something else that's really surprised me and has really fascinated me is the fact that the Pocket Wireless's battery life does not die super fast. I used the Pocket Wireless system on a gig about a week ago and I was recording stuff for about a good maybe 4 to 5 hours. I had not charged the battery previously, so I was curious to see how long the battery was going to run without it dying in the hot sun. But to my luck, the battery survived and it did a pretty damn good job. Plus, when I was ready to charge it up again, it charged up pretty fast. So based on my experience, I think the Deity battery does a great job of keeping its battery life together and also charging it up when you need it to be charged really fast. So the way I use the Deity Pocket Wireless is I usually connect it to my camera, in this case the Canon M50, the camera I'm using right now. But if I'm using my phone for Patreon videos, I have this cool phone case that allows me to clip the receiver onto the back of the phone, and then I use the USB-C to USB-C cable and connect the receiver to my phone's USB-C ports. I almost always use the transmitter's built-in microphone. The reason for this is because it's an easy procedure. It takes seconds. Sure, the microphone's going to be visible on camera. To me, that doesn't really matter. As long as the audio sounds good, crystal clear, that's all I care about. But you do have the option of using Deity's external wired microphone that connects straight into the transmitter. But again, you have to go through the process of putting it over the shirt or maneuvering it over someone's clothes and trying to find a spot that works best for it. However, if I were to use this system for corporate events, depending on what the director wanted, I would either need to hide the microphone or just have the microphone visible. But that all depends on the director you're working with. And if you're looking for videos on how to hide your wireless microphone away from the camera, then I would click the video above my head to give you some information on that. By the way, if you've been enjoying this video, be sure to hit that like button. So here are some of the positive things about this microphone system that I think you're gonna really dig. As I mentioned before, it's easy to use. The battery life lasts quite a bit of time, even though it's 6 hours, but a lot of the time it feels more than 6 hours. It's very small and portable. You can easily put the receiver and transmitter in the small designed case, this thing right here, and put it inside like your camera bag or something and just get to work whenever you're on location. And the best thing that comes from it is the audio quality you're recording. So let me know what you think of the audio down in the comments. The receiver has a lit up screen for telling you the Pocket Wireless's battery life, along with the reception and how many decibels of gain the transmitter is receiving. So I personally like having that information available to me at all times, knowing when the battery is going to die, how much reception I have, and how much gain the transmitter is taking in. And you can also control the gain from the receiver. There is a button on the receiver that says dB, which stands for decibels. And as you press that dB button, the gain signal from the transmitter increases. So when you're doing this, be smart about it, because your camera audio levels and your receiver audio levels need to match up with each other. You don't want your camera audio levels to be super loud and then have your receiver audio levels be even more loud, because that's going to lead to distortion, which brings us to our next benefit of the system. If, for whatever reason, the Pocket Wireless is close to distorting audio, it has a built-in limiter which helps prevent it from clipping. So because you're recording wireless audio, it's going to be 24-bit audio. And with 24-bit audio, if you record audio over a certain threshold, then the audio may clip at some parts. And if the audio clips, it's unrecoverable. So with Deity's limiter, it helps prevent the audio levels from reaching a certain threshold, getting too hot, and clipping and then not being able to be used in post-production. Now the negatives of the Deity Pocket Wireless are actually very small. There's not a lot that I could come up with, which is a good thing. One of the things I experienced with this system not too long ago while doing an interview was some high noise floor listening back to the audio in post-production. I set the microphone levels a certain way, and I can't remember if the camera levels were set a little bit too high or if the transmitter's audio levels were set a little bit too low or high. Pretty much the dialogue sounded good. It was crystal clear. However, the noise floor, the that you hear in the background, it was kind of interfering with the dialogue, and that's something that you want to try to avoid as much as possible. Another downside that shouldn't be a huge downside for the majority of you is the fact that it is 2.4 gigahertz. And with this microphone system being 2.4 gigahertz, it's not the most promising when recording audio from far distances. The reason for this is because since your Deity Pocket Wireless uses 2.4 gigahertz, which is the same as a cell phone or your internet connection, some of the frequencies can interfere with each other, which can lead to audio cutouts. But luckily, I have not experienced that with the Deity Pocket Wireless, and hopefully it won't happen either. So overall, my experience has been quite pleasant with the Deity Pocket Wireless. The product has worked great every time, and I really have nothing bad to say about it. Every now and then I like to use a Parametric EQ audio plug-in to help my voice sound a little richer with the dialogue I've recorded. And for those of you who don't know what an EQ is, it's pretty much an audio plug-in that can manipulate the frequencies you hear. So if you're hearing a high frequency at a certain band, you can increase the decibels on that frequency. And since our hearing is more tuned into the higher frequencies, a lot of the times sound mixers and musicians will cut the lower end so that you're mainly listening to the higher end, depending on what the circumstance is. And every time I've used this wireless system, I've almost never plugged in the wired lav mic. I almost always just use the transmitter with the built-in microphone that it comes with. And I may have stated it before, but this is simply because the process is just so much easier. And let me tell you something. This wind protector right here, hopefully you can see it pretty well, it's life-saving. I think I mentioned it before in this video, but maybe not. I had a gig recently where I had no choice but to put this thing on my transmitter. The wind protector did a fantastic job, and I could hear only so much wind coming through the microphone. Granted, it's not going to sound absolutely perfect, but I mean, this wind protector did a fantastic job of making sure that it didn't interfere too much. Overall, I completely trust Deity's products. So if I were to recommend this product to any consumers out there, I would definitely recommend it to video creators for one, video creators who are heavily focused on YouTube videos, and visual storytellers looking to tell short films. Because when you work on short films, you're working with a very minimal amount of characters, and there could be certain scenes that only take one wireless microphone. In this case, you can connect your Deity wireless receiver onto your camera and then record the dialogue from your actor using just one transmitter. I also recommend this product to singers and musicians, and the audio quality sounds pretty damn good. Of course, if you want to manipulate some frequencies, you can, but if you're recording the sound of your singing and your guitar, there will probably be some frequencies you want to keep in there that you don't want to take away from another source. In other words, you don't want to cut out some frequencies that could be useful for your vocals that may not be useful for your guitar. And I also highly recommend this product for a lot of vloggers out there, people that like to go out and explore in the world. I've seen a lot of entertainment channels using the brands Hollyland, which is another microphone company. There's also DJI. They're a little more expensive than the Deity Pocket Wireless to my knowledge, but there are a lot of YouTube entertainers that are using very similar microphone sources like this in their YouTube videos. The only types of people I would say that shouldn't get this microphone system, or that it isn't worth it to them, are the higher professionals out there in the movie industry, which if you think about it, I don't think they're looking for this system anyway. This system was mainly designed for content creators and people who are looking to get by with some basic audio. Let me rephrase that. Basic audio, but higher quality. If you'd like to learn more details about the Deity Pocket Wireless, then you should check out the video you see right next to me. If you haven't hit the like button already, be sure to do that. Also subscribe for more awesome content coming your way. It's free. Thank you for choosing the Hack Experience, and I'll look forward to seeing you in that video.